Brittany, Brandon, Raleigh, John David, Alexander, and Robert. Some of those are here. Some of those families here with us today, and we appreciate you being here. And of course, husband to supportive wife, Debbie. Debbie, we could have a whole separate event commemorating all you've done for Gordon and Steve throughout the years, and most importantly, putting up with Mr. Savage for this long. But without a doubt, we would like to acknowledge all that you've done and realize Mr. Savage wouldn't be here for you. Being the backbone of your family, we really appreciate that. So, Mr. Savage, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We share a lot of fond memories. The 16 years that we were here, and so we are honored to honor you today. And so without further ado, Mr. Savage.
Thank you, Holly. I wished I were deserving of those kind words. When I came out here in the spring of 1984 to the final meeting of the Board of Trustees, where they agreed to let me come out and be their superintendent, I told the board that my goal as a school administrator was to be industrious and humble. Ronnie Tashman was the president of the Board of Trustees at that time, and he quickly informed me that I could devote my attention to being industrious because the board would keep me humble. And they pretty well did. I'm humbled here today, and I'm honored. Dr. L. Dawn McNew was the chairman of the Educational Administration Department at East Texas State University in the 1970s. If you wanted to get a superintendent certificate, you got to take the first course, which was the Introduction to the Superintendency that was taught by Dr. McNew. Dr. McNew was a gentleman that was plain spoken. He would tell you what he thought, whether you liked it or not. In the course, Dr. McNew says that if you want to be a successful superintendent, you have to have a successful school. And the roadmap to get to a successful school is quite simple. There are 3 mileposts. Number 1, you hire the very best people that you can find, and you do whatever it takes to keep them. Number 2, you provide them with the tools and the supplies that they need to do their job. And number 3, get out of their way and let them go. And finally, don't do anything to screw it up. The first part was really easy in terms of finding the best people that we could find. When I got here in 1984, some of the best school teachers that I have ever been around were already here. In the elementary school, the teachers I found were Mary Lucille Barron, Joyce Sharon, Charlotte Charles, Joyce Keys, Barbara Lee, Pam Tate, Deanna Roberts, and Linda Perry. When I retired in the year 2000, 6 of those ladies were still here. During my 16 years here, we hired 3 elementary teachers, Mary Harrison, Linda Clark, and Sue Glidden. It is from that group of ladies, from the elementary school, that all of our success flowed. They operated as a team. They not only taught kids facts and numbers, but they made them competitive, and more importantly, they taught kids how to learn. And in doing so, they provided those kids with the ability to handle the avalanche of information and skills development that they would face in the secondary school and in life. The secondary teachers I found were Leslie Crane, Frank Hewitt, Crystal Hewitt, Rusty Draper, Paula Campbell, R.B. Strain, Brenda Cox, Joe Belinsky, Milton O'Connor, Nancy Alexander, and Jimmy Ray Castile. When I retired, 4 of those people were still here. Over the years, we brought in some exceptional people, which made major contributions to our system. Richard Holder, Cindy Clifton, Rob Proctor, Sherry Holder, Ray Mishu, Carol Stewart, Jody Larner, William Cochran, Kathy Sale, Cindy Pearson, John Cook, Clyde Parham, and Andrea Wimberly. The support staff that I found, and these are the people that grease the wheels of progress and drain the swamp. These are the people that do much of the dirty work. When I got here, I found Judy Hunt, Charlene Bearden, Linda Wright, and Bobby Hicks. Judy Hunt was the business manager the entire time that I was here. Judy managed the income and the expenditures of the district. And when I'd want to buy something and we didn't have the money for it, Judy said, no. And I said, well, Judy, this is important. This is good. It'll be fun. We need it. And Judy said, no. Charlene Bearden was the school secretary the entire time I was here. And she didn't buy those excuses that the kids offered for why they were started, because she knew better. Over the years, we hired some exceptional support staff. Judy Cathy, Christy Tiblitz, Gail Pollock, Carla Swagger, and Nyla Castile. Other folks who were with us or came with us that had an impact on the district: Connie Crane, Fred Keys, Vicki Jones, Bert Cathy, Bill Simmons, Vi Bennett, Shady McGee, Margie Johnson, Kathy Swagger, Norleen Vargas, and Jody Rouse. Nelson Campbell was also here when I got here. He was the principal, athletic director, and head coach. In his principal role, he and I had the best relationship that I ever had with any principal that I worked with. It was not a matter of we sat down and said, okay, you do this and I'll do this. It was a matter of if there was something to be done, somebody had to do it. During the time that I was on the UIL Legislative Board, I was gone a lot of the time. When we were involved in building projects, I was down at the field a lot of the time. When I was gone, Coach Campbell handled whatever needed to be handled. Because of his responsibilities as athletic director and coach, he was out of the office a lot. During the time that he was at the field, I had to take up the responsibility for disciplining the entire school. Even when he was here, it was easier for the elementary teachers to bring those sorry kids down to my office so we could visit and get them back to class. And as I look around, yes, I did paddle some of your butts. But please understand that it always hurt me a lot more than it did you. As far as Nelson Campbell's coaching, he's one of the best that's ever been. He's in the Hall of Fame. And how he got there is he knew football. Nelson Campbell knows more about football than anybody that I've ever known. The way he got there was he played here, as Calvin talked. He played for Boyd Lowry, who is also in the Hall of Fame. He played 4 years at TCU. He knows football. He knew football then. More importantly, he knew kids. And on the first day of two-a-days, Coach Campbell would look at, well, who have I got? And what are their strengths? And what are their weaknesses? Coach Campbell was able to draw on his knowledge, and he was able to develop offensive strategies and defensive strategies based on what kids he had and what they could do. During his career, Nelson went 247 wins, 61 losses, and 2 ties. In the 1990s, we won 109 games, lost 19, and tied 2. We were the team of the 90s. During his years here, Nelson had 22 winning seasons. Now, in all honesty, during some of those years, Coach Campbell took a bunch of mullets and made winning football teams out of it. In some of those years, he took mullets and made playoff teams out of it. And as I look around, I see some of those mullets, but I will not ask you to stand. You know who you are. But Lordy, 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 on the years that he went to 2-a-days, and there were a bunch of kids down there with a lot of strengths and not so many weaknesses, we won the state championship. We did that twice. That was the most fun I have ever had. Thought I was going to have a stroke at Sweetwater in 1996. I also thought I was going to die at Clyde against Panther Creek in a quarterfinal game in 1999. I would not trade that for anything in the world. Now, for the second part of what Dr. McNew said, that you got to provide the tools and the supplies that folks need to do their job. Eventually, that has to flow from the community, and it has to flow from the Board of Trustees. The board that hired me were Ronnie Teichman, Monia Cunningham, Calvin Stoner, Kenneth Epperson, Eli Stockstill, Will Ed Hopper, and everybody's sweetheart, Betty Baker. Sadly, we lost Betty just a couple of weeks ago. During my time here, other board members that came aboard were Jerry Venable, Charlotte Smith, Joey Knight, David Milmo, Renee Johnson, David Chamberlain, Roger Rexrow, Russell Stowe, Karen Clips, Karen Stockstill, Terry Thornton, Jerry Baker, Jimmy Hunt, and Kim Elkins. Another thing that Dr. McNew said, and this is really important, is you have to depend on the community that supports your school to support your school. When I came out here in 1984, the board made it clear to me that me over was not good enough. The community, through its board of trustees, had resources and were willing to commit those resources to make this the best school it possibly could be. And they never wavered on that commitment. If we needed programs, the board was ready to do it. We bought computers before anybody else around did. Miss Barron had Apple IIes and was doing remedial math and remedial reading before anybody else started using computers. We had other schools that came to see what Miss Barron was doing. We needed a program to help our kids with phonics. They'd buy it. As well as programs and stuff, there are other things that are involved in schools, like school buses. The board set up a system where we bought a bus every 2 years. In other words, we budgeted half a bus every year. Nobody ever questioned it. We were always able to keep our transportation system in top-notch condition. Facilities also are important. When we got ready to build the library and classroom wing on the front of the high school, we saved up the money and did it. Same thing with the baseball field. We saved up the money and did it. When we built the football field and track complex, we saved up the money, but we approached it a little bit differently than schools normally approach it. The school functioned as the general contractor. We did most of the work ourselves. We had a couple of guys, Rick Jones and Fred Keys, who could do anything. So we went to Abilene, rented a paddle wheel scraper, a D4 cat, borrowed a motor grader from the county, and we did all of the dirt work. We did all of the fencing, and we did all of the concrete work. In the summer of 1984, we had a couple of guys down there with us, Randy Jr. and what's going on? Shannon Hunt. And they poured concrete all summer. They were in good shape when football season came. More than that, the board were supportive of our kids as community members. They were fans. They showed up at football games here. They showed up at football games on the road. It was not uncommon at all for the visiting team, us, to have more people in the stands than the home team. Now, Dr. McNews says the final evaluation of the school system has to be its product, has to be what it is that you produce. It has to be your kids. As we look at the kids that came through our system, I could not be more pleased. Whether it was football, track, literary, girls basketball, whatever it was, when the Gordon bus showed up, folks expected to get beat. And that's all you can ask for kids, is to be a presence, to be a factor, to be respected. As we look at the kids that are now out in the world, we have doctors, lawyers, engineers, lab technicians, nurses, teachers, school administrators, successful businessmen, and successful businesswomen. There are community leaders. They are leaders in this community, and they're leaders in other communities where they live. There's another group of kids in whom we hold the highest pride and we owe the deepest gratitude. After the planes hit the World Trade Center on September the 11th, and the plane hit Pentagon on September 11th, a good number of our kids enlisted in the military. They took the fight against those who would wish us harm to Iraq and Afghanistan. They made the choice that they were willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to defend us and to defend our way of life. These are the best of us. These are the best of us. Some of those youngsters are still in the fight today in one capacity or another. Our son, Randy Jr., is one of those. I am so glad that he could be here with us today. He flies out tomorrow for his next deployment to the deserts of Afghanistan. Our family is really proud of Randy Jr. In closing, and I would ask that you bear with me on this part because this is going to be difficult. In closing, there's no way that we can have a complete and meaningful discussion of my time as superintendent here unless we stop and remember the 7 kids that we buried during the time that I was superintendent here. Beverly Johnston, Becky McGee, Kevin Clifton, Amanda Baker, Vivian Rodriguez, Carrie Venom, and Ariel Quillen. We don't know what those kids would have accomplished. they were taken too early. As fate would have it, all 7 of those kids were in a relatively small area out on the south side of the New Gordon Cemetery. When it's time for Debbie Savage and I to go to our final resting place, you'll be able to find us on the south side of the New Gordon Cemetery among the kids. We'd like to keep an eye on them. Thank you, Gordon, for allowing our family to be a part of it. We enjoy it.